As you said, as a Hindu and the Asian peoples, I am not supporting totally Israel's and Palestine, because both countries are side by side. They have to live, because their existence is the existence of the human being, and their existence is our existence. We have to think in that way. Whether we're not going to divide the world into the Palestinian and the Israeli peoples. We as human beings, whether it is Palestine or Israeli or Indians or Pakistani or Nepalese or Americans, we all the peoples are together for the peacekeepings and for the prosperity of the human beings. So what's happening in Israel and the Gaza and the West Bank, I think is the very worst. This kind of activity doesn't brings the happiness in Palestinian and the Israeli peoples. So they have to think very deeply about it, and they have to respect the humanity. They have to respect the human beings. As a humans, we have to live together. We cannot live alone. We need the Palestinian and we need the Israeli peoples. We cannot say that Israeli people is nothing and the Palestinians are also nothing, because both of them are the human beings, and they have the same desires, they have the same feelings, and they have the same thinking as we are thinking. So as long as we want to live in this world and we respect the dignity of the Palestinian people and we respect the dignity of the Israeli peoples. So what's happening in Israeli Bhumi and Israeli the lands, I think it's not going to happen the very good result. What we have seen just before, thousands of people going to be suffer from the war, and many people already they killed. So before the events happen the worst, they have to think very deeply and have to take the right actions, how they can dissolve the conflict between Israeli people and the Palestinians. It is not only for their prosperities and the happiness, it is for the world. It is because the war is happening in Israel, but the effect is going on around the world. So this is what I want to say. As a human beings, as a Nepali people, and the war should end as soon as possible, whether the Palestinians take the right actions or the Israeli people. We cannot say that the Israeli also making some great mistake, or we cannot say that the Palestinians also going to make the great mistake in the history. Both of them are making so many mistakes one after another. So both countries, Palestine and the Israeli people have to think, and they have to sit together and they have to find out what's the right solutions. Whether it is on the behalf of the Palestinian people or on the behalf of the Israeli peoples. If we think that the Israeli is the different community and the Palestinians are also different, if we think from the different angles, if we see the people from the different angles, and there is no solutions, the war is going on, and both sides have to lose so many things, lives and the property. So what I want to say is the rules of America is also very strong in this war, and America also have to bring both country together for ending this kind of the war. This war is not going to benefit Israel and the Palestinian and whether the world. So I mean like that.
Okay, so many people think that it's a war between Judaism, Jews, and also the Muslims, the followers of Islam. Do you think it's a religious war?
Yes, somehow what is said, we can believe that there is also the racial and some religious factors is also playing the very big role in this case. But this is not only the religious and this is not only the racials, but this is the agenda or the point of their existence, whether they are able to hold their existence in the world as a Palestinian or Israel. So this is the issue and this is the point of the existence rather than the religious factors or some racial factors. And this is also another case, the economy is also playing the very big role. The Palestinians, what they are thinking about it, the United States divided them and they divided the Palestinian peoples. Not only the Palestinian peoples, their power and their existence divided, and there is the big suspicious things, whether they are going to perish from the world or they're going to exist. So this is the war of their own dignity. This is the war of their existence. So they are fighting for their own existence, how they can exist in this world.
Okay. So what do you think about the way that many communities that's happening and many people are suffering, like the people out there, many innocent civilians, they're suffering because of the political interest of various kind of leaders, because they always want to stay in the power. So they want to show something, like for example the presidents or the PM of maybe Palestine, they want to have that power and they wanted to win the votes, and maybe they did some political stuff and they tried to attack Israel. We never know. And also some people have told us and has informed us while we were discussing, these are great master designs are there and they are designing this war and USA is behind it. What do you think?
Well, the prosperity of the world peoples, Palestine making the great mistake, the Israeli people also going to make great mistake, but both of them are right in their own way. They are thinking from their own angles, from their own prosperity. But exactly what I said just before, this is the war of their existence. When there comes to the point or the matters of the existence, the people is ready to sacrifice themselves, and they are at this point ready to sacrifice their life, ready to sacrifice their own properties and the land, even if it is needed. So in this case, both of them have to understand what was happened in the past, but what is needed at this present. It is also very important. If you go back to the past to make so many corrections, sometimes it is impossible too. So the possibility is what happens, if the Palestinian people compromise in these cases, I think that's the better way to resolve this kind of war. Whether if they are going to be more resist and very stubborn, and the things is going to be worse than this, and the Palestinian people is going to lose the life and the properties, and even if the war is continue, maybe their existence perish from the world. So both countries have to think their own existence, and the war is going to be the prolonged, and the Israeli people also going to lose some things. So many years they struggled, and so many years they work very hard to bring this kind of prosperity, this kind of the development in Israel and the Palestinian. But they do not have to lose this kind of achievement, and this is what the right solutions. As soon as possible, they have to sit together to the peace talk, and they have to realize themselves, and they have to make the very solid, solid plans how they can win together. Whether the Palestinian is not going to win this war, or the Palestinian people, they also don't have to think the Palestinian people is going to lose this war. Both countries, how they can win this war. Both countries, how they can bring the peace and security in their land, and how they can protect their peoples. They have to think in this way, I think.
We have a guest. He was a social activist, and also he's a social worker, Durga Samal. We were having a conversation on what does he think about the war between Palestine and Israel, and we would like to wrap up with a final question, asking him, who do you think will win the war?
I think ultimately, the study shows, they have to come to the compromise point. If they are not ready to compromise, and both countries have to lose so many properties and the life of the peoples, and what's happening, the result is the examples, the result shows that. So as soon as possible, what I said, both countries have to think. Israeli people have to think very deeply, and the Palestinian peoples. And behind, there are so many countries who are holding their hands. They have to control the Palestinian people, and they have to control the Israeli peoples. They do not have to evoke, they do not have to encourage to come to the war. And they are also playing the very big roles. It is not only the matters of the Palestinian, and it is not only the matters of the Israeli people. It is the matters of the world powerful countries like America and the Russia. And the Russian peoples and the American peoples have to think not to extend this war. It becomes too much for the world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.